Well, Jim, is that pretty much a perfect day this afternoon? With the only team in the top 5 to win?
Well, I think not a perfect day, because obviously I only look at what we do, and I thought we huffed and puffed our way to a result today, and I thought Darnham were decent. You can see their quality, and all I'm really bothered about is us doing what we need to do to get our results, and I think we did that today. As I've warned, we're not going to be scintillating and full of energy. It's going to be hard graft, and we're going to have to work hard, keep doing the basics right, and then just keep grinding out those results. So I'm really pleased for the efforts of the players that we got our result. It's a nice result, great and clean sheet, 3 points, and then the results sort of give an extra gloss to it. But for all we sit here and think, oh, Spennymoor got beaten, but we have to be mindful Hereford won. And even Nuneaton. So I think we're at that stage of the season where the topsy-turvy aspects of games is certainly going to come to the fore. So just one game at a time. So just it's nice to have an empty week, get everybody fully charged up. We still look like we have a few players who are tired. And once we get them firing on all cylinders, then we might see some performance that really excite us.
As you say, it'd be lovely to play lots and lots of scintillating football and tear teams apart and score lots of goals from open play. But today, I'm guessing you're probably quite happy with the 2 goals that you scored, because both of them are set pieces and very well worked too.
Yeah, we worked on Thursday sort of with both Sam and Scott, and it was a late decision to leave Sam out because Sam had 2 games, Sam Walker that is, and I wanted to introduce Keno back into the side, and that way at the end of this 3-game week that both of them have had 2 games, but we needed Scott to be able to step up and do the set play, so it's nice for him to, although he didn't quite have an assist for the first one. But if what I said to the lads is that this is a kind of, again, I bang on about discipline. Luke Trotman, I think, is a really good player.
Yes, yeah.
England C, watched him playing for England, excellent, but he's given away a foul that we scored from, got himself a yellow card, and he's done a similar foul in the second half. And I think the margins between the two teams is really that little bit of ill discipline. We capitalised on it, and I think we needed to, I won't go into trade secrets, but we needed to change what we were doing on set plays, and we did that, and we punished them.
And also a debut as a substitute for Jason Gilchrist this afternoon. What about the qualities he brought to the team? Yeah,
it was difficult to assess because we didn't. We expected them to change shape, and then when we introduced the likes of Sam, I think Sam played a little bit too defensive. I think it was my fault that little bit because I expected them to change shape to 3-4-2, and they didn't really. And then we didn't adjust. Dan Cowan stayed as a centre half, and there was only one up front, and he gave them ownership of the game, and they got the pitch, and they created a few chances which they shouldn't have really. But my biggest lament is that we didn't create enough. I'm hoarse from shouting to Scott Duxbury to switch to play from throw-ins. We had this is where I'm asking the lads to take a bit more responsibility. I set certain, give them some simple stuff to do, and then, but when the game changes and it's 10 men, then you have to change. If people have recognise what we're doing and strengthen up on one area, then we have to recognise the other side of it. And I think that the message I was trying to get across was difficult because, but our players should recognise weaknesses, openings, and the question was about Jason, and I think that if we had played more football and got ourselves in and around the edge of the box and got better quality crosses in and little through balls, then he'd have been able to shine. So, but it's nice for him to get as many minutes as he did, and I'm really pleased for him to be part of this, and I'm also really pleased that Adam Thomas, I thought we did really well. I think it was a difficult game because all of our players had a bit of a run around first half, but Adam Thomas in particular was, it's no disrespect to Jordan King, but I thought Adam Thomas was one of my most pleasing aspects of the second half.
And of course the introduction of Jason, it allowed you to change your shape, and that's something you've not been able to do too often this season, but you ended up there with the front two and you had a back three as well. And you were able to vary it quite a bit late on.
Yeah, but we didn't want to, with any centre forward, I don't want him overworked. I think Belly had a difficult afternoon. He was chasing between centre halves, the type of ball we were throwing up to him. I obviously tried different permutations of Elliot and Matty in the 10 role, but what they weren't doing is they weren't making us a 2 when we had the ball. So when Belly was up front and coming short, we didn't have somebody making a counter run. I think we got that with Adam, but look, we got a little bit of work to do. So sometimes we some of our players don't recognise the nature of a game and then work their way through it. And I think when they do, as I said to them, that we are doing really well and we've got really good players. But once they start taking ownership and recognising things and being able to adapt and change, then I think they'll be really good players, great players, and we'll have a great team. But still a lot of work to be done on the training ground in terms of them recognising, taking ownership of the changing dynamics of the game. Because we're going into that stage of the year now where we need to lock out, we need to expand, we need to go for it. The drama of these games now and the tactics will change dramatically from one part of the game to the other, and we need to be able to recognise when we need to do different things. Subs can help change that dynamic, and having different options is brilliant, but it's all about players recognising when they need to play 5 yards lower or narrower and 10 yards higher and wider. And I think once we've learned that, I think we'll be okay.
You talked earlier about managing your squad and players playing 2 games and then coming out. How do you manage people like Frank Mulhern, Lewis Baines? They can't even get in the 16 at the moment. It must be difficult for those to have those conversations.
Yeah, well, this is why I said to you about the psychology of what's going to happen. I think I said it on air on Thursday night or whenever it's released Friday. But most important thing for me now is to keep tidying up the techniques and tactics and putting out the right team and adapting. But yeah, it's difficult. And while there's no injuries, we had a joke in the I said, look, Luke, tell me if somebody's got a knock. Nick, tell me who's tired. And there would have been a good reason to play Lewis because they were using Thompson as an aerial outlet. There would have been a good reason to play Daz to try and get that width on the left as well as the width on the right. There would have been a good reason to play so many players. I think the last couple of weeks, though, we've seen Frank Mulhern look really tired. And I think, as I said at the start of the season to the board, it's very difficult to replace someone like Jason Oswell. But if we can get 2 young players in for similar money and that Jason wanted, and one of them can play 30 games and give us 15 goals, and somebody can give us 10 or 12 starts and 15 sub roles and give us 10 goals, then between the 2 of them we'll have a better value and also options. And I think that Frank has looked tired, but he's been well used over the course of the season. Now, because of the injury that he's had, he's coming back. But what we did is we kind of ran him out of steam with poor football today, and I think we've not been using him as a target man. We've been trying to work the sides, but there's other players who, it's great to have Paul, Sam and Keno and be able to rotate them so they both have 2 games. I think it's great to have Lewis in the squad. I need to give him a game to just keep him motivated. But as I said to the lads, that opportunity will probably come next week and the week after when we're playing Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Monday. So I just asked him to be, I have a complete respect for all of them and they've all got a part to play and all got a role to play. But what we're trying to do is play to manage the group in a way that we get not just a result today, but a result Saturday and a result Tuesday and a result Saturday and Monday and so on, because we're looking strong at the moment and it's very difficult for me to choose the right side. But when I have everybody motivated and training really well, then it's not just great for me, but it's great for them, because these are good players, and the only reason they're not on this side is because we have other good players. So it's healthy at the moment, so let's keep it healthy over the next couple of weeks. Just
finally, you've got that trip to Hereford next weekend, but would you agree with the statement that for once, for the first time maybe this season, the title is now in County's hands with the results today? Well,
you could argue that it's been in our hands once you have Chorley to play. What we'd like to do is get in a position where that Chorley, the game against Chorley is where we don't have to win. But like our mentality is just to plough on, work hard in week, get the best result we can, and then just let if the lads look after their performance and their work ethic and everything, the points will look after themselves and the position will look after themselves. So I don't think we should be looking at, if we win this game, win that game, and then that gives, I think just Hereford's a tough game. Like I said, Spennymoor have lost to them today. I watched the video, Hereford, Darlington were 2-0 up against them and they come back to win 4-2. I think Hereford's starting to find a bit of life. But it's a great pitch, great place to go and play football. So I'm really looking forward to it. I remember making back in the 90s playing there when they were a non-league side and pulled the bull out for the big FA Cup game. So great place to go and play football. So all we have to do is just have a good week's training and know that we're going in for a really tough game, as tough as playing any team at number 1 and number 3. So we just have to do everything right, professional, make sure we come away from next Saturday with a result. And if there's points dropped, then the momentum continues and we just keep looking forward and not worry what's behind us.
You've hit the ball today, big 3 points, well done.
Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot.